So many times in your security journey, whether it be going for OSCP or on the job, you will encounter hashes, and it's important to know what your options are, or even more specifically, do you even need to crack them, right? It really depends. We're going to dive into all that in this video. Hey, what's up, guys? Ryan from Elevate Security here. And when it comes to hashes, especially for Windows, a lot of times you don't even need to crack them. And when it comes to the Linux ones, there's a lot of easy ways to do that. We'll be diving into that in other videos, especially. But in this one, I wanted to keep it simple. I wanted to keep it basic, giving you guys the information that you need for OSCP or just getting your feet off the ground here in security, offensive security in general. Now, when it comes to hashes, when it comes to passwords, I should say, and how they're stored on servers, a lot of times you'll see some random data in the beginning of the hash, right? And that is what is known as the salt. Now, a salt is basically random cryptographic data that is put at the beginning, or just additionally added to the password in order to further safeguard it from attacks like rainbow tables, if you ever heard of that, or any kind of pre-computed hash attacks that are out there. Now, if all this sounds really complex and you're not really following, don't sweat that too much. Just know that a salt is something that is added to the encrypted password just as a further security measure. Now, when it comes to cracking a lot of your passwords that you'll encounter on OSCP and things like that, it's best to do this offline, right? So you get hashes, right? Now, or you get these hashes and you transfer them to your Kali box, or if you are, kind of balling out, you have your own rig that is a dedicated password hacking rig. I know IPSec has one. I personally do not. You could, of course, pass it to that, and if you have a really high-end GPU, then you should be able to crack, or a lot of really high-end parts. If you're really serious about this, you can crack these things really fast using some offline tools like whatever you prefer. Maybe Hashcat, maybe John. I'm not going to get into the fine details of those programs in this video, but I will be in future videos, so definitely be looking for that kind of content. But as far as cracking these, it's best to do it offline because there's a bottleneck associated when you crack things through the network, right? Like we've used Hydra before to brute force login pages and stuff like that. And with that, every attempt is having to traverse the network, right, from our attacker machine to the target machine. So that adds a lot of additional time, especially if you have a lot of things that you're brute forcing there. But with these offline crackers like John and Hashcat, you're able to run through these really fast because you're doing it on your box, right, not over a network connection. So that's an important distinction there that allows you to do this a lot more efficiently. Now, when it comes to Windows, like I was saying, a lot of times you don't even need to crack the hash, right? Because Windows has something known as, and you probably heard this before, pass the hash. So what that is a lot of times, if you just have the hash, you can actually supply that as a password to authenticate to different, various services. Like, for example, if you have the hash for, a user account on a Windows box, then you can typically, use SMB map, right, to connect to the SMB service as that user by supplying the username and then the hash password, right? So, there's a lot of things you can do with that. I mean, that's just one such example. You could also use, the other tools as well that leverage, user account login type of stuff. So that's an important thing to note about Windows. While we're on the topic, another thing that I'll mention, because this is pretty relevant for OSCP and a lot of CTFs in general, when you see these older versions of Windows operating system, I can't remember the exact Windows Server, I believe it's like 2008 and older, when you see those, they store 2 hashes of a password. They store the current NTLM hash, which is what you see. NTLM hash is what you see in the modern Windows operating systems, but they also store what is known as LM hash, and this LM hash is a very sort of archaic hashing algorithm, right? And it's actually very easy to brute force. And you could just get into the fine technicals of that because of the way that there's a lot of characters that are always the same in certain contexts. So you only have to actually brute force like a small chunk, and that's why it's very easy to brute force it if you want to look into the fine details of that. But yeah, just know that LM hash is very easily to crack. So I have my system here, so I'll just show you, for example, how you could crack this. For example, say you have an LM hash, you could just do you just Google like crack LM hash, and you should be able to find it, right? There should be, oh yeah, here we go, crackstation.net. You might want to bookmark this one. This is like a really good one that I've used quite a bit, right? So you just put your hash in here, and it should be able to, I believe it should be able to detect if it's an LM hash. Sometimes you can crack an NTLM hash too as well if it is a very commonly used password, right? Then it should be able to get that. But these are all the things it supports. I know this is kind of small. Let me make this a little bigger so you guys can see. It supports a number of different hashes, and a lot of these are very common ones that you'll encounter. So I would definitely bookmark crackstation.net. I've personally used it quite a bit, and it has helped a lot, especially if you don't have your own dedicated password cracking rig or anything like that. That is just one way. Now, use that in addition to your John, your Hashcat, whatever, right? That's what I would definitely recommend for you guys. So I hope this video was of help to you guys, and if so, definitely give me the like on the video and subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you guys in the next video.